Welcome back. A big congratulations if you were able to drive this morning and not get stuck. A lot of our fellow motorists were not so lucky in the aftermath of the biggest snowfall so far this season. Let's get over to Sam Ryan, who has had an eye on the roads all morning long, and it is treacherous.
Yeah, it really is, Brad. And I just want to bring you a quick update that they just opened up 694 now heading eastbound. That's some great news. And I want to show you the scene over at 694 and 35E. And take a look at our traffic cam. We've seen multiple semis. Most of these vehicles that get stuck are the big rigs, and this is what it looks like here. But we also have our Chopper 5 right above that region, and here's what it looks like from our Chopper 5 cam. If we do we have that, guys? There it is. Yeah, you see the slowdowns. You see the big rigs that are stuck there. So we have lots of semis that are unable to make it up small inclines. We've also seen other vehicles spin out due to ice-covered roads. There's probably a quarter to a half an inch of ice covering almost the entire metro, so it's widespread. This isn't in any one exact location. I want to show you some other cameras around the region where we saw 394 westbound coming out of the Lowry Hill Tunnel. Take a look at this. It is completely shut down. We have a couple cars that are able to zigzag themselves around. But look at this. This guy right here, he's pushing this vehicle. This is looks like an SUV, four-wheel drive. You know, it really doesn't matter. We've seen tons of different vehicles getting stuck in these icy conditions. This is a major highway, 394 westbound coming out of the tunnel. Look at this, Lexington. We have big rigs that are stuck. There's one. There's another. We had more than that, but look at this. They got the salt trucks. They have not one, but two salt trucks that are just laying down a blanket of salt and sand. We can kind of see it right there if you look real closely, where they're blanketing the entire interstate now with salt. It's been slick all the way from 35E. And take a look at this. As soon as one semi gets across this bridge at 94 westbound and 280, another one gets stuck. And there we have it again. Now, I spoke with somebody, a viewer, who wrote to me and said these big rigs are getting stuck because they're empty, not because they're full. And previously, I thought it was because they're too heavy. He said, no. If they're heavy, if they're full, they're able to get through this stuff okay. But what happens is when they're empty, they can't get through. Look at this crosstown. We've seen big rigs being stuck on the crosstown all day long. This is at Highway 100, where they've actually routed traffic away from Highway 100 or crosstown eastbound to Tracy Avenue. They're having to route traffic around that region because it's just too slippery to get by. Again, we have seen these conditions all the way around the metro. Even if you go up into Maple Grove at 494 and Bass Lake Road, we also see the entire highway being basically shut down. So if you decide to go out, note that you're going to have to zigzag yourself around many big rigs, and you're going to have to deal with icy conditions. I spoke with my wife earlier, Brad. She spun out on 494. It's quite scary. Back to you.
Yes, it is for sure. Are we going to Chopper 5 next? We are. Okay, let's check in now with Ken Melchior. We checked in with him about 30 minutes ago. The scene from above is just as bad. It's a mess out there, Ken.
Yes, it is. Right now we're over 694 and 35E, and you have to say we got 10 inches of snow, or just short of that, but we're definitely rising to the occasion. What you're witnessing down here on westbound 694 is a very resourceful tow truck driver. He's going to hook up to a tractor trailer that's stuck on the ice, and they've cabled the back of that tractor trailer to a car that's spun out. He's going to pull them both out at the same time. So definitely Minnesotans rising to the occasion. Right now, it's the same story, though, all across the metro area. Is the underlying ice all along the interstates is causing a problem, particularly when you get into a slight grade. They confront with a spin out ahead. Tractor trailer has to stop for that, and then he can't get started. So there's blockages around major roadways all around the metro area. Back to you.
Well, hopefully we can zoom out a little more. I want to stick with you just for another minute or so, Ken, to talk about some of these. We know there were at least 40 jackknife tractor trailers through the course of the night around Minnesota. As we were hearing earlier, it's because that they're empty rather than full, and as you mentioned, they just can't get up these hills. We saw a lot of these pictures down in Atlanta, thought we were kind of above that. We knew how to take care of this, but with that thin layer of ice that we saw yesterday and now new snowfall, there's no way around it for a lot of these big rigs.
That's right. You know, when you have the rig that's empty, they got a lot of momentum going around a turn, and they'll get themselves into a jackknife situation with a layer of ice underneath them. It's very difficult for them to control. On the flip side of that, if they have a full trailer, they're confronted with a crash or an incident ahead of them where they have to slow down, and that layer of ice underneath, they just can't get the traction to get going.
Do you get any sense of the side roads, how they are doing? We've been focused all hour at this point on the interstates. Side roads even worse, I would imagine.
Yeah, side roads are difficult too because they're not laying down sand or chemical at this point. And right now, you know, all the trucks, including the city trucks, are overloaded getting the streets plowed. So for at least through the rest of the afternoon here, you might be on your own in some areas. And looks like we may have another spin out just on westbound 694 again. Back to you.
And you know, the State Patrol always says stay in your car in an incident like this, especially in these slick, slippery conditions. Doesn't take much, as we're seeing, for those spin-outs. And if you're out of your vehicle, you're really at the mercy of plain luck keeping it safe. So again, a good reminder to stay put. With cell phones these days, you can call for help. All right, Ken Melchior with the scene from up in the sky. Ken, thank you. Now we're going to get over to Catherine Johnson. Since I guess about 4:30 this morning, she's been riding the roads. Catherine, what are you seeing this morning?
Hey guys, this is the crosstown heading west, and look at this, we're seeing asphalt. This is a great sign. We're actually getting some melt out here, but it's also giving us a look at how much ice is on the roads out here in the metro. It's at least an inch thick between what we're seeing on the asphalt and then getting back on the ice right here. We narrowly avoided 3 accidents this morning ourselves. If we weren't at least leaving 3 car lengths space between us and the driver ahead of us, we could have been involved in a few crashes because we just keep seeing these cars spin out one after another. We want to slow down, take care of each other today. The biggest problem on the roads, obviously this ice, even more so, the ice on a slight incline, even the smallest hill will cause you trouble today because if you get stuck in stand traffic, you may not get going again. One other thing to keep in mind, we saw a driver on their cell phone looking down, maybe texting, doing something while driving in these conditions. Please, 2 hands on the wheel, white knuckles. I want to see those white knuckles. We got to make it through this together. We got to take care of each other. Right now, back to you guys in the studio.
Driving instructor Catherine Johnson with the tips there. Let's check in with Ken because we're all dealing with cold and wind, right?
It's the wind. You know, I'll tell everybody right away, the snow is, except for the blowing snow. That's why there's a winter weather advisory. No more falling snow, but it will blow around a little bit. Now it's gone from a weather story of falling snow to more of a news traffic story. That's what we're spending most of our time on. All you have to know about the weather is it's going to be cold but dry this weekend. Brad?
All right, thanks. This is kind of cool. If you'd like to see a few inches of snow fall in just a few seconds, one of our photographers setting up a camera, recording it overnight. 3 inches of snow, we figure, here in 8 seconds. Fortunately, it doesn't really happen that fast. Hopefully that lens is waterproof as well. Showcasing creative Minnesotans is a story that's coming up next. We'll be right back. It is certainly the story of the hour. Let's get over to Sam Ryan again with all the problems we're seeing on the roads.
Thanks, Brad. Yeah, we are seeing multiple semis that are just getting stuck on these icy patches. Here's one in particular, 94 heading west. We see 1 semi, 2, and 3 right now that are stuck. Now, we do have a tow truck up in this direction. There are actually 2 of them, and they're just trying to bring these big rigs up the incline enough to get them going on their own. But the problem is, just down the road, we're panning the camera, but just down the road at 280, we also have another slippery spot where the trucks are unable to get up another incline. And here is yet another area where we're seeing a lot of vehicles get stuck, and this is on 394 westbound as you head through the tunnel. So it is treacherous out there. We also have 494. We also have 494 heading northbound, and we have Ken live in the 5 Eyewitness News chopper, and he has some other footage to show you, and I'll let him take it from there.
Yeah, Sam, we're coming into downtown St. Paul, right in the heart of Spaghetti Junction, westbound 94, just coming off the 35. 2 tractor trailers back to back, stuck on the ice, blocking traffic. Looks like westbound 94 coming from Woodbury. We're starting to see some backup there, and also from southbound 35E coming into the city, seeing some backup. These 2 guys are stuck on the ice, no tow truck in sight. Back to you.
Ken Melchior up in Chopper 5. You see the problems with the trucks more than anything else getting stuck as they're trying to go up some of these hills, and as a result of that, it is backing up traffic for a good bit until help can get there. And the problem, let's bring in Ken. Sorry, being talked to in my ear. Let's bring in Ken here and talk a little bit about the ice that formed yesterday, and that is creating the problem with this new snowfall coming in, and as a result, no match.
Well, I have a scientific theory about this. I mentioned it earlier. If you rub your hands together, you get heat. That's called friction.
Yes.
I think that what happened is we all got in very easily overnight last night, but when all the cars started going over the ice, friction was created by the tires, and that creates a little layer, because of the heat, of water, just like an ice skater does. Creates a little layer of water beneath the blade, and he kind of skates right on by. And
doesn't take much.
I think that's what happened this morning. Let's check out what's happening this afternoon, shall we? It's back to the heavy coats. Yes, it is. The parka, the polar fleece, whatever you want to call it. It's back because the wind chill is back. You have to shovel again. I would wait a little while because the wind's going to blow it around if you can, and do it a little bit later this afternoon when the wind finally subsides. Yes, we do have some flurries of light snow as you head up 35, but for the metro area and all the surrounding counties, the snow is done. However, the wind continues to gust to 33 at Minneapolis International, Minneapolis-St. Paul International, and in the city of St. Paul, still gusting to 30. And look at St. Cloud, gusting to 37 miles per hour. That's why there's a winter weather advisory. It's not due to the fact that we're getting more snow. That's not happening. It's whatever is on the ground is simply blowing around. 9, right now the west wind at 18, that's giving us that ugly wind chill back to being gone for a little while at 10 degrees below zero. Here are the temperatures. 9, again, here in the Twin Cities, at least the Minneapolis side. St. Paul is 10. Looking to the north, it's also 10 at Cambridge and Princeton. The cold air is kind of locked in for now. I do think we'll tick up a little bit, back up into the teens. Unfortunately, with the wind, it won't feel like it. It is 0 at Bemidji, but with the wind up there, it feels like 22 below zero. Alexandria feels like 23 below zero, and down in Wilmer, it feels like 10 below. That's a very common number across the Twin Cities metro, right around 10, 12, 13 below zero, as you see here. So a very cold afternoon. We'll break down like this. By 2 o'clock, we should be somewhere in the mid to upper teens, dropping very quickly, though, by 6 o'clock under clear skies to 13. 9 o'clock, we're down to 11, and when you wake up tomorrow morning, it's back. That ugly fat 0 will be back with us again tomorrow morning, and likely on Sunday, too. I just feel better calling it names. 18 degrees this afternoon, windy with partial sun. The wind will slowly subside late this afternoon. Tonight, cold. Wind chills as low as 20 below. Actual air temp, 0. Looking ahead to tomorrow, a quiet start to the weekend. No snow. Not a lot of wind at all. 15, a lot of sunshine. Same on Sunday. Lots of sunshine. 14 degrees. 12 with some scattered flurries on Monday. Doesn't look like anything big. And then staying cold all next week. Brad, on Wednesday and Thursday, we'll be lucky to get to 8 and 7 degrees respectively. There's always a bright spot. I had to dig around for it, but there it is.
I thought you were going to say it was like 2 weeks ago or something.
Yeah, well, it was actually 3 or 4 days ago.
Right.
We hit 40.
Yes, I know.
But the future bright spot looks like tomorrow, because the winds will be down and it'll be sunny.
It'll be a bright spot because we'll be past this evening commute.
Yeah, I think this evening is obviously going to be pretty
it's good. We want to, in fact, go back down to Chopper 5 and Ken again, because, Ken, you are at 94 and 35E in St. Paul, and you were saying that it just keeps getting worse there.
Yeah, there were 2 tractor trailers that were stalled up a grade going on westbound 94 just south of 35E. That 2 turned into 4, then into 5. And as we look to the west, and you can see from Chopper 5 right now from this picture, we're traveling westbound 94 towards 94 and 280. You can see an accident right there near Snelling and 280. It's blocking traffic. It is slow and go. West of downtown St. Paul towards Snelling Avenue. We're heading there right now. We should be able to give you an update in about 60 seconds. Back to you.
Let me ask you this. Are you seeing primarily stalls, or are you seeing actual crashes?
I'm seeing a little of everything. First of all, there's stalled cars on the side of the road. Some of them left there from last night. And crashes. Part of that, again, I mean, this is kind of an old story now, but the underlying ice, the cars come around a corner or go up a grade or down a grade. That underlying ice catches them off guard. They start a braking action, lose control, and then crash. So I would say you've got about 30% crashes, 30% stalls, and then the remaining 40% is just people stuck on ice, and that's primarily tractor trailers.
Yeah.
As we're approaching the incident right now, you can see we got another tractor trailer stuck on ice. He just got hooked up to a tow truck. Back to you.
Yeah, so help is getting there as quickly as it can. Of course, it's also alarming emergency vehicles in some of these crash situations trying to get there, and there is no fast way to do it. Ken, thanks a lot for the latest there from Chopper 5. We will check back with you if we need to one more time, but for now, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. I think we are due to talk about some wintertime fun. All of the snow is going to keep crews busy getting ready for day 2 of the Red Bull Crashed Ice competition going on in St. Paul before the skaters hit the ice for the national shootout. Yesterday, crews had to shovel the course, get it ready for everyone. It's going to be the same situation, no doubt about it, again today. Lisa Huber from Visit St. Paul says, if you're going to watch today's competition, give yourself plenty of time to get there.
So get here early. I mean, it's an exciting atmosphere. There's merchandise stands, there's food, there's drinks. You can hang out, take it in, and then the competition starts at 6:45, and everything will be ready to go.
Not sure anyone is getting anywhere early today, but that international shootout gets started at noon, so in just a few minutes, the team competition finals are set for 7:30 tonight. Let's get a check to see what's happening today on Twin Cities Live, and Emily Engberg is here. Hi, Emily.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm great. You?
Good, not
trying to stay
too bad.
warm and out of the car.
I know, I'm telling you what, it is not fun out there, but we have a lot of fun on Twin Cities Live coming up today at 3 o'clock. I love when I get to surprise people, and today I get to do it again. I'm going to give away a free vacation. If you see me hiding behind a snow pile in your neighborhood, well, guess what? It might be you winning this big prize. And Elizabeth is going to head-to-head with one of our favorite cooks in the Mac and Cheese Challenge. One will be walking away with a Golden Grater. That's today at 3 o'clock.
Tuesdays just got more interesting. Join me, Joe Schmidt, for Ryan Suter Unplugged Tuesdays at 6.
Warner Stellian, Minnesota's own appliance specialist.
Just a couple minutes to go. We wanted to get back to Sam Ryan and the traffic situation. 494, 694, 94. There are slowdowns or complete stoppages on all of these interstates, it seems.
Brad, we have seen many. This is just one, the location of Crosstown. And you see this car, he's all by himself. Right now, there were other cars that were stuck there on the Crosstown heading east, all the way from about 169 until you reach close to 35W. We are seeing sections of that close. Here's the scene at 690 Main Street. One other spot I want to show you real quick before we get to that is 494, and this is heading northbound. This has been stopped with all of these big rigs being stuck from time to time. Big icy stretch on 494. We've seen accidents also on 494. You see it here. This is 494 heading north as you approach 394, and we see some of the vehicles there. And then from time to time, these big rigs will get stuck because you see all of the white on the roads. Well, that's normally salt, but in this case, it is now ice. So now I'm going to take you back to 694 and Central, where we have an accident that occurred, and they completely shut down 694 heading eastbound. And we also have Chopper 5. He's live. Ken is live right now. Ken, what are you seeing from up there?
We just arrived at 694 and Central. On eastbound 694, we've got, again, stalled trucks due to ice, multiple tow trucks. It looks like what wound up being a collision, and at least 3 tractor trailers that are stuck on the ice. It is slow and go. They've got it down to essentially 1 lane on eastbound 4 Central. Back to you.
All right, the plows are out, right? We're focusing on these incidents. Have we seen the plows? Okay. We, of course, are going to stay on top of this through the day. Much more coming up at 4:30. Please stay safe.
Get into Klein Nissan of Maplewood for the Nissan Now event. Amazing deals on all makes and models. Lease the Nissan Altima for $175 per month. Looking for all-wheel drive? Come in and test drive a Nissan Rogue, available for $249 per month. Or check out the newly redesigned Pathfinder for as low as $279 per month. Nissan's hot-selling luxury all-wheel drive, the Murano, is available now for as low as $399 a month. Come in now. Klein Nissan, Minnesota's #1 Nissan dealer. Klein Nissan, just south of 694 on Highway 61 in Maplewood. Or always open at kleinnissan.com.